Well, let's go thumbs up or thumbs down on this week's Newsmakers with the Ethics Guy. Bruce Weinstein joins us at the Time Warner Center in New York. And Bruce, I want to thank you for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me, Colin.
Hey, Bruce, we got to give the thumbs up to the governor of Alabama for saying he would vigorously go after businesses that raise their prices after a bad situation. Is it unethical for businesses to raise their prices in order to take advantage in a bad situation?
Absolutely, Collins, and a thumbs up goes to the Mississippi Attorney General Jim Hood for reiterating that it is a crime to gouge prices during a state of emergency, which occurred during the past weeks with Hurricanes Ivan and Francis. It takes advantage of people's tragedy, and it's wrong to do that. And thumbs up goes to the Attorney General for reminding us that it is illegal and that violations of this can result in fines and even jail time.
Now, in New York City during the blackout last summer, businesses didn't take advantage of the situation.
They did not. So a thumbs down goes to those motels and grocery stores and lumber yards, gas stations that raised prices and took advantage of, again, a tragic situation. Now, in the short run, those businesses will in fact profit, but in the long run, by damaging the trust, damaging the good faith that customers place in them, their businesses will be hurt, because who would want to give them a business once the tragedy dies down? So New York businesses did not do that during the blackout. Businesses in the South that have raised their prices, have taken the low road, should follow New York's lead in that regard.
All right, let's turn our attention to CBS and Dan Rather. Over the last week, we've heard about the alleged memos from his Navy days in the military. What type of ethical problems does CBS and Dan Rather face in regards to their sources and the memos themselves?
Collins, Dan Rather gets a thumbs down from the ethics guy this week for standing by his story, even though the legitimacy of the documents that has been used to convict President Bush's military record in the court of public opinion, the legitimacy of those documents has been questioned. And even though Dan Rather admits that there is a controversy surrounding this, he says that the story is true. Now, innocent until proven guilty is not just a legal principle. This is a principle that applies, or ought to apply, to journalism ethics as well. So it is unfair for Dan Rather to toe this line consistently without any evidence to support that conclusion. It's just unfair to President Bush. Now, I'm saying this not as a Democrat or Republican, not as a conservative or liberal. This is an ethical analysis that is above and beyond politics.
Now, can CBS and Dan Rather get by this one without having a long-term effect on the network?
You know, this is interesting, Collins, because by taking the low road, you're not just doing the wrong thing ethically, but you risk creating some really bad PR that could damage the business and damage the reputation of the organization in the long run. It's never too late, though, to right a wrong, and CBS has finally agreed to hold an internal investigation, but Dan Rather should also refuse to jump to a conclusion until there is firm evidence to support the claim that President Bush skirted his military obligations, if in fact that was the case.
All right, let's turn to Martha Stewart now. Did she do the right thing in asking that if she can go to jail as soon as possible?
Yes, Collins, Martha Stewart gets a big thumbs up from the ethics guy this week, because by admitting that finally a wrong has been committed, she is doing the time for the crime that she committed. Lying to federal investigators is a crime under the law, and instead of fighting it and appealing it and dragging not only her reputation but the reputation of Martha Stewart living Omnimedia into the mud, she would have just delayed what was an inevitable conclusion probably. So by admitting, or at least being willing to serve the 5 months in prison now, she's taken the high road. In the long run, she may very well reestablish the good faith that people place in her. She gets a thumbs up.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us, Bruce. Always good to have you and get your thoughts on the ethics out there.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks. Take care. Bruce Weinstein.